Good evening. Today we are broadcasting live from the jungle. We are going to be doing a speed garagey Notion type tune. Let's get into it.
Leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses. I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on fronting. You never wanted that, but look what you become. So busy with them all, now you're a lonely one. I don't need your body at night, and I don't need you to hold me tight. Baby, if you just promise this, leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses.
Right, let's have a little listen from the top.
Why I'm not afraid of the dark. I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on fronting. You never wanted that, but look what you've become. So busy with them all, now you're a lonely one. And I don't need your body at night, and I don't need you to hold me tight. Baby, if you just promise this, leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses. I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on fronting. You never wanted that, but look what you've become. So busy with them all, now you're a lonely one. I don't need your body at night, and I don't need you to hold me tight. Baby, if you just promise this, leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses.
Alright, let's have a little look through, shall we? We are in F minor, 144 beats per minute. And to start off, because we're doing a Notion type tune, he did a remix of The Days by someone called Crystal. And if you're looking to do bootlegs in a similar style and with similar vocals, I would always recommend going through the original artist's back catalogue and pulling out an acapella from there. And that's exactly what I've done here. Crystal, I looked on her Spotify, and this song is from 2015 or something. And I've just lifted this acapella using a vocal remover online, and it gives it that real Notion remix vibe. So already we're off to a good start because we've got a vocal that has that same kind of vibe. So we're starting off with very simple Reese bass.
I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it.
We have two harmonic morphs, one fine-tuned down 30 semitones, one fine-tuned up 30 semitones, and the sub is on direct out, and that's pretty much it for this patch. I'll show you again, as I always do, if we have these on 0. Quite a flat sound, and then we stick one up 30 and one down 30. That's where you get that real grit, the real wobble. And we're in F minor, so we're going from the F to the B flat, to the D flat, to the E flat, which is the 1 to the 4 to the 6 to the 7.
I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on fronting.
And then at the end here, we've got this little flick. And I've noticed people like Fred again use this kind of technique a lot. And he's using his basses as an 808. And then he'll do these little flicks, an octave up or a couple of octaves up, using that same 808 to create a little bit of a melody flick here and there. So we've done a similar thing here. So we're using the same patch as that Reese just to do these little flicks, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And if you did the same thing on the same octave, it's a little bit less effective.
Then so hard to keep on fronting.
Take it up an octave.
Then so hard to keep on fronting.
Could even take it another octave up.
Then so hard to keep on fronting. You never want.
Bit too much for me, so that octave works well.
Then so hard to keep on fronting. You never wanted that, but look what you become.
And then to create a little bit of tension, a little bit of atmosphere, we've got this high string in there. Just on the F, playing the root note. And I've got this little bounce of a sort of vocal atmosphere that I use quite a lot in tunes. And as you can see here, that's just hitting on the F as well. And then as we go into this build, we have this little Reese here. So we're playing very similar notes. So instead of going from the F to the B flat to the D flat and then up to the E flat, we're holding on this D flat to just create a little bit of tension. And we've changed the patch. And this is a patch that I found before, which is a +7 Reese. So it's a Reese with one of the oscillators 7 semitones up. And then we've got the fine tune down a little bit on one, fine tune up a little bit on another.
And I don't need you to hold me tight.
And then we've got a little break in there just to increase the energy. And we've got a Valhalla vintage verb on there as well, just in that section. So it creates a little bit of atmosphere. When there's enough space, because there's not a lot going on in this build, then we just have that reverb in there just for that little break. So it creates a bit of atmosphere. And then when it gets into the drop, we take that reverb back out again.
And I don't need you to hold me tight, baby, if you just promise this.
And then in that build, we've just introduced a few more drums, a little bit of a snare build, and some kicks as well, just to increase the tension. And as I've said, a lot is creating space in between your sections. So we've pulled out a lot of elements here. So there's no kicks, no bass, very little drums, and it's just the vocal in this section here.
Leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses.
And then a little almond break in there just to add to the energy.
Sweet kisses. I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on from.
So then we come to this little sort of pre-drop section, and we've just got a kick in there just to start.
I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it.
And something that I found difficult on this vocal is the way that the original is, it sort of had this overlapping bit of the vocal.
I know that they mistreat ya.
Had that
I know that they mistreat.
And I didn't want that in there. So in this little section here,
I know that they.
the first word was I.
know that they miss.
So to sort of get around that backing vocal, I pulled this I from a different section of the vocal.
I know that they mistreat ya. I know that they mistreat ya.
So you hear that backing a little bit less. So when you're working with a bootleg in this instance, it's a good idea if you have bits of the vocal that you're not liking to look around and find other ways of sort of chopping it up and making it sound the way that you want to. So this was before.
I know that they mistreat.
And then after.
I know that they mistreat ya.
For me, it sounded a little bit more cohesive because we don't have that backing vocal in the rest of the track. It sort of helped it move along a little bit more.
I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on from.
So the only thing that's changing in this bass is in the intro, we were an octave down on this note, and now we are an octave up. So it's exactly the same note, but the patch has changed. So we have this sort of classic Notion Reese. Super simple, 2 saw waves, one fine-tuned up about 30-ish, 1 7 semitones up and tuned up about 50. And again, you can play with this. It kind of depends how you want your tune to sound. If you wanted it to sound a little bit less gritty and less dirty, you could pull these fine tunes a bit closer and it would sound like this. And you want it to sound even more gritty, you pull them apart a little bit more. So it all depends on your taste and what you want for your tune. So we've got those two. We've got a low pass on the filter, and we've got a little bit of hyperdimension, some tube distortion, and a little bit of EQ. And that is it.
I know that they mistreat ya, but you still want it. You're so in love with loving, so hard to keep on fronting. You never wanted that, but look what you become. So busy with them all.
And then the drums do a lot of the work. So as the drums are introduced, we've got this reverse kick. I always find it's super effective to add a little bit of energy when you're coming into the drums. And then always to have a hard-hitting kick is what's most important. So I took a while to choose this kick, and I think it works really well because it hits really hard. And like I always do, use a shaper box to just shave off the end. So we're shortening it a little bit so you have a little bit more space for the bass to come through. And then on top of that, we've got a top kick. Really subtle, really quiet, but it just helps it to punch through a little bit more. And then we've got our claps on the 2 and the 4. And then our hats on the offbeat. And then something that's really important in this style of music is to have these little clats, I always call them. They're sort of offbeat snares that mimic what a real drummer would do. So these little things here. So without them, and with, Really gives it that skippy feel, really helps to push on with the energy. And you can see here, I've really swung them quite a lot. So if you look here where our beats would traditionally be, we're sort of swung slightly to the left. So if it was on grid, it would sort of hit around here where this little marker is here, but we've got it just a little bit before, so that helps really give a groove to it. And we've done the same on pretty much all of these hits. So they're all not on this grid here, they're just slightly before. So the skip really helps the energy of the song.
You never wanted that, but look what you become. So busy with them all, now you're alone again. I don't need your body at night.
And again, just little bits of pauses here and there. So we've taken the kick out here.
You're alone again. I don't need your.
And then a little bit of a fill with the kicks. So you just distinguish between this one section here and then this next section.
Now you're alone again. I don't need your body at night. And I don't need you to hold me tight. Baby, if you just promise this, leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses.
And then to help with the groove of the whole track, everything is being sidechained to the kick. So the bass obviously is being sidechained to the kick. You can see it here, just as the kick tails off, we're allowing that bass to come in, and we're doing a similar thing with the vocal. So slightly different, because with the vocal at this rate I felt like it was a little bit too intense, so I peeled it back a little bit in comparison to the bass, but the vocal is ducking with the kick as well, so that ducking really helps with the energy.
You never wanted that, but look what you become. So busy with them all, now you're alone again. I don't need your body at night, and I don't need you to hold me tight. Baby, if you just promise this, leave me with at least one of your sweet kisses.
And there we have it. I will inevitably return to drum and bass because I know you guys love it, but I have to go off piece sometimes just for my own sanity. I do hope this has helped. I do hope you've liked the cat. Thank you for watching. Love to your mothers.